Anyone?
All right, Coach, we're going to get started with Brendan Clean with Locked On Suns.
Hey, Monty, what do you think is the biggest way for Campaign to maintain his effectiveness with Chris coming back, and how can he stay at that high level going back to a different role?
Not change. I mean, we've never asked Cam to change the way he plays. You know, he's a different type of point guard. You know, we felt like the way he played the other day is the way he typically plays. So we don't want him changing just because Chris is back in the lineup, and Chris would tell him the same thing. It really helps our team. It gives us a different dynamic.
Next up is going to be Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Law Murray.
It's just because we're back in LA, but I was thinking back to in between Game 3 and Game 4 of the Lakers series when you had those 2 days off, and that kind of, you haven't lost a game since then. I know it's hard to reflect in the moment, but what do you think happened potentially during those 2 days that kind of ignited what has happened now?
It's hard to say. I mean, our guys take losses hard, as most competitive people do. Certainly nothing that I don't think I did anything differently. I did tell the guys to go out and hoop. You know, that was one thing that we felt like our culture can never change, and the way we play can never change. The playoffs tend to slow you down a little bit, and we want to continue to try to play the same way we played in the regular season, knowing that it's a bit more physical in every possession. There's a higher premium, but I don't think I did anything differently or anything like that to spice it up. The players could probably tell you better than I just did, which is normal.
Next up is Law Murray with The Athletic, followed by Mark Medina.
Hey, Monty, over here. So Ty was just saying that you got to flush with the loss from Tuesday night. The player said that too. I mean, your team won an emotional game. So how do you kind of recenter your team and get them ready for business at hand tonight?
Same thing. You know, our guys understand that every game has a life of its own. And we came in with a great deal of focus, and we looked at a number of things that we did poorly in game 2. It put us in a tough spot. And, you know, that's what you have to do. You know, the playoffs are one game at a time. We understand that. It was an emotional game, but that's over with. We have a really good team we're playing against, and we respect them, and we know we have a challenge ahead of us.
Next up is going to be Mark Medina with USA Today, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Hi, Monty. Good to see you. We all obviously know how special a player Chris is, but given his time away from the court, what do you expect you can get from him tonight? Or are there going to be any limitations with him in terms of minutes?
There's no restrictions on Chris, so I'll obviously monitor what I see, and he's always been pretty straight with me about when he needs a timeout. We have a normal rotation for him, but I'll be watching him closely.
Next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, and then Dave McMenamin.
Hey, Coach, when he came back, obviously, shoot around today, what was it like? How much did they rejuvenate or excite guys? What would he move like from vibe once they finally saw him amongst them?
I mean, obviously, guys were excited to see him get on the bus. Everybody's been FaceTiming with him and that kind of thing, but to have him back in on the bus and shoot around was pretty cool for everybody. And, you know, right after that, everybody got right back to business. We watched film and broke down some of the things we didn't do well, and got on the floor and had a good shoot around.
Follow Coach with Nate and him getting that first win last night. Just, I don't know if you had a chance to watch even of the game, but just what do you make of what he's been able to do with Atlanta, like midway, and have them at this point right now?
I mean, he's just a good coach. You know, he's a guy that, for me, he's had a huge impact on my coaching, my life. When I see the way they're playing, especially on the defensive end, I can see his imprint for sure. And, he's the one that taught me to respect the position, respect the game more than I did. And I'm not quite sure if I can answer that properly as it relates to what he does, but he taught me a lot. That's all I can say. Just being around him every day for 5 years, he taught me so much about the nuances of the game, how to approach the game, how to build a program. And I really enjoy the success he's having.
Next is Dave McMiniman with ESPN, followed by Sam Amick.
Monty over here. Jay had that run last year with Miami, and he said that the similarity he's seen from last year's group and this year's group was like the younger guys, sort of Michael Robinson, Tyler Hero, as the playoff went on, their confidence just grew, and it wasn't something that they got intimidated by. Have you seen that with any of your young guys on this run through the first round?
It's hard to say. I don't have that perspective that Jay has, but I know our young guys are diligent about the work, and they're good listeners. We have veteran guys that pour a lot into them, and I don't think I've ever seen any of our young guys turn them off or, act like they're above getting that kind of information and wisdom. So we hope it continues.
Next up is Sam Amick with The Athletic, followed by Dan Woike.
Lonnie, I know nothing replicates playoff basketball, but it's really unique to have Chris at home in quarantine, I'm sure trying to stay in shape. Like, what kind of program do we even try to put in a situation like that? I'm assuming you guys have folks with their hands on him and talking to him about how to get as close to that as possible from a conditioning standpoint. Like, what did his week look like?
I don't know, because the protocols are different. When you are in that, I'm not sure you can do anything. And so that's a tough one for me to even approach, because I don't think, I know from our perspective, we couldn't do much of anything other than talk to him on the phone. So I'm not quite sure. He could tell you better, but I think when you're in the protocols, they limit what you can do.
So do you have a sense of what kind of setback it was for him?
I'm sure. I mean, it helped him too, though, because he logged so many minutes in the Denver series. So I'm sure a few days off helped. But I'm sure he didn't want that many days off. But he's always been a guy that's, ever since I was around him in New Orleans, when he had the knee issue there, like if he had to take a few days off, he'd get right back on the floor, and it was like he never left. And not many guys can do that. So, who knows what Chris was doing on his own.
Next is Dan Woike with the LA Times, followed by Melissa Rowland.
Hey, man. You mentioned back in it's been a decade since you did a playoff run with Chris. Other than the obvious sort of, physical aging and stuff like that, what do you think the biggest difference is in him in that 10 years?
I mean, he's had so many experiences, he's had gratification, he's had hurt, he's had a lot of stuff happen since, I've had the same thing. And I think when you have those kinds of experiences and as you get older, you relish it more. As much as he lifts and changed his diet and all that, your window is closing every second. And you relish all of it, not just the playoffs, but the bus ride, the plane, all the stuff we do as a team. So I'm sure that's had an impact on how he continues to approach it with such a high level of respect.
To follow up on that real quickly, I mean, he's always that dude wants to win more than anything. But have you seen him enjoy the little stuff more?
Absolutely. I mean, the other night when we won the game, I was on my way home and we were on the phone talking, and he sent me a video. His daughter played in her first basketball game and hit a game winner in her first game. And that was what we were talking about on the way home, if you can imagine that. So I think there's a level of maturity that I've seen in him. He's got a bigger family. And, it's just pretty cool to be with him again. And hopefully we can continue this thing.
Final question is Melissa Rowland with Fox Sports.
Hey, Monty, after the excitement and the emotions of last game, did you feel a need to kind of have a talk with your team to recenter them heading into tonight?
I didn't, because of we've had so many different things happen this year. You have to reset almost every day, from guys being in and out because of COVID, injuries, different lineups, testing, whatever the case may be. We've had a lot of stuff, and because of the veterans we have, having Jay and Chris is enough. Having Willie Green, who's been in these situations with Golden State, that's a lot of wisdom on our staff and on our team to kind of reset the deck. And our guys, they're competitive and they work, they want it. And so we've been able to turn the page after emotional stuff happens. And I expect the same.
Thank you for the time, Coach.
Thank you.